And then we move to, remember I told you how the Whig Party came to power? That was last week?
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to kill them. They only last a week in this class.
What?
They lasted about 50 years in reality. What splits the Whig Party, though, is that the Whigs have this theory that we don't want slavery in the new territories, but where it already exists, it can continue. Not because we support or like slavery, but if we let it continue, then eventually, because of the progress of our nation and we're moving to industrialization, slavery will have to wear out. It'll have to go by the wayside as something in the past that doesn't work. This is their belief. But remember, the abolitionists are in your face right out there and they want slavery gone now. Then the Fugitive Slave Act passes and a lot more people are joining their ranks. We want slavery gone now. So that the Whig Party is no longer working. But there's Southern Whigs who are for this gradual elimination. And there's Northern Whigs who are for this almost immediate stop to slavery. Splits the Whig Party and it's no longer very powerful. Other parties rise up. One party is the American Party. They also call it the Know-Nothing Party because they make fun of them saying they don't know anything. The Know-Nothings. And their platform, their beliefs, are a very nativist platform. What is a nativist? Think of the word native. What is a native?
Native's like a Indian or something like that.
Okay, well that's Native American. But what is a native?
Natural or something like that.
A natural, someone who lived there before, right? So if you're a nativist, then you believe people who live here are the good guys, right? Basically. So they're very anti-immigrant. They hate the Irish. And they're very anti-Catholic. You should be a Protestant. Remember we talked about that word assimilation? Where you want to make people similar to you? How that was a big part of Manifest Destiny? Yeah, exactly. Well, this is what the Know-Nothing Party believes. Anyway, the Whigs have split up. They're no longer very powerful because their numbers are decreased. They pretty much fade away. But a lot of people are talking. A lot of people are for the immediate elimination of slavery. And they say, we need to form our own party. What's the party they form? Opposite. Republican Party. The Republican Party we know of today is the same one they formed then. And they nominated a candidate for president to run in 1856 by the name of John C. Fremont. He's one of these mountain men we talked about. And during the Mexican War, he manages to capture California. He was in the army. So he's a war hero. You know, we're going to put this guy forward as our candidate, the Republican Party says. Trouble is, the Republicans still aren't that strong. The Whigs are still out there, kind of splitting the votes. So the Democrats win another presidential election. And the Democrats have held the executive seat, but maybe once or twice since Andrew Jackson. So, I mean, we're up to our 15th president right now. Andrew Jackson was on 7. So, the Democrats hold power in the presidency and in Congress. They hold the power of government, which doesn't make Northerners very happy. The Republican Party, though, is born to combat this belief in slavery. The main plank of their platform, of their belief system, is opposition to slavery. The next part of the packet. The last one is the Dred Scott decision. How many of you have ever heard of Dred Scott? Dred Scott was a slave. An African American slave. At that.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Very good. He was from St. Louis, Missouri. He was owned by an army surgeon. The surgeon is posted at different army forts around the country, including in Illinois, Michigan, and Wisconsin. All 3 states, according to the Land Ordinance of 1787. He goes back to Missouri with his owner. His owner dies, wills him to someone who sells it. And someone finally informs him, or he finally figures out, listen, I was in these free states before, but yet I was still a slave. Shouldn't I be free? Because I was in states where slavery was abolished? Yeah, so he goes to court with the issue. It makes it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court, however, regrettably, decides Dred Scott is not allowed to be free because African Americans are not citizens of the United States and are therefore not entitled to rights as citizens. So he can't sue in court. What's worse is they decide that constitutionally, the federal government has no power to decide where slavery can exist. Because in the Constitution, it doesn't give that power. Maybe perhaps they could have loosely read that in there, but they chose not to.
Yeah.
So, we're kind of stuck now. Because what does that do to the Compromise of 1850?